Well, we're going to create this lovely flower cup in this video. As you can see, I have a nice clean plastic bottle. Got quite a large one here, but you can actually use a smaller one if you want. We're going to start by just marking the bottle with the petal shapes. Now I've used the natural dip in the bottle as my target line. And doing it above where the bottle has almost like a natural petal shape going downwards to the base. And that's a little bit fiddly cutting into these bottles, so I usually start just above where I've drawn the line, so we've got room for error. Now I've used a sharp kitchen knife just to sort of make the initial cut and get that going. Let's see if the scissors work on it. Not always. Yes, they work on this one. So yeah, just cut fairly roughly right above your drawing, so it makes it easier to snip once you've got a bit of room to do it. Now remember, if you are not very confident with the scissors, just get an adult to help you at this point. They can do all the hard work and you can have all the fun. Okay, and don't worry if you go over your lines a little bit. We can get as close to them as you can without chopping your thumb off. I know it looks a bit precarious from this angle, but I promise you I'm being as careful as I can be. I do love this project because you can make so many different colours and flower shapes. Once you've learnt the basics, which I'm showing you on this video, you can really start to experiment in your own time and get quite a collection. There we go. Very simple. You can see the petals now. Okay, I'm going to start using some tissue paper on this one. I'm just going to cut it into lots of smaller pieces. You don't have to cut it, you can just tear it. Yeah, not using them, not too big, because otherwise they take a little bit longer to glue on. Really chop them quite roughly. I'm going to chop them again. Almost like mosaic pieces, really. The smaller they are, the more control you have of creating different designs on them. But really, on this one for me, I just want to cover it in lots and lots of colour. So I'm going to glue first, just little areas as you go. You don't have to glue the whole thing. I'm starting on the inside, but it doesn't really matter. That bit, it'll work, but you could do it with smaller, to be fair. Ooh, very gloopy. So we've glued on the base, then you re-glue on top of the tissue. It's this method you use for something called decoupage or decoupage, which is covering an item with these sort of papers. Some are a bit more decorative papers to start with rather than just tissue paper, and we use this technique on some of the other videos I've got as well, actually. In fact, I use it quite a lot. And it does add a nice texture as well, rather than just painting flat onto something. Gives you a little bit more control. So you can use whatever colours you want. Just because it's a flower shape doesn't mean you have to do anything. You could use rainbow colours, different colour on each petal. And then just doing a few on the outside. If it gets a little bit too sticky and the tissue starts coming off in your hand, then it's probably about time to just pop it down and let it dry for a bit and come back to it. Or start creating a second one. So you're doing two at once. You see, I think as well, halfway through I'm thinking, have I done the right colours for me? In which case, if you feel like that, just add a different colour over the top. Doesn't matter if you make a few mistakes, because you don't know until you've started putting these things on whether or not you're going to like it. So don't ever feel that just because you've started something you can't go back and correct it. There's not many mistakes you can make in art. Quite often these things start having a way of building up and becoming something you haven't planned on. And that's part of the excitement, I think. And here I am, a million miles an hour, doing another one in white. This one I decided to start doing because it gives you the option then, being in white, of either painting on it if you've got paints at home, or using the markers. Just creating something again a little bit different. So I've used a couple of sequins in there. I've used some acrylic paint in the middle of that one. Markers on the outside. You can see just a few different ideas coming through here. And then my favourite, I think, is this idea. And I've had this hanging up in my house for the last few days. And I love it. Now I think I might go and make about 30 and hang them in my garden for the spring and summer. Hope you enjoy making them too. Take care. Bye.